Welcome back to TheChowTimePod. It's your host, Red. I got a video today from Law and Crime Network. Apparently, this math teacher diddled a teen and had other students be lookout. What the hell is going on? Please subscribe down below. I really appreciate that. See that. Ciao. It's chow time.
Schools are supposed to be safe places where children are not meeting predators. And unfortunately, I think that is one of the first places they meet predators.
In another case we've seen far too often, a Missouri high school math teacher is put behind bars on allegations she had sex with her 16-year-old student. Texas authorities arrested 26-year-old Haley.
Again, we never take it as serious because it's a boy that's being assaulted, but it's just as a serious crime as if it was a woman or a girl that's being assaulted.
Clifton Carmack on January 5th for charges of statutory rape, endangering the welfare of a child, sexual contact with a student, and fourth-degree child molestation. According to police, she was suspected of fleeing the state of Missouri.
So this is like first-degree stuff, right? I saw a lot of you guys comment and explaining it to me. Like the first degree is full penetration, and then everything else after is like touching and stuff. So
after the allegations, and was picked up in Garden Ridge, Texas, about 30 minutes north of San Antonio and nearly 12 hours away from where she lived in Lakeway, Missouri. Police in Missouri say they were alerted to Haley's alleged behavior in early December after a student witness came forward and reported the relationship to their school's resource officer.
Where is the rest of the community? Where is the principal? Where are the other teachers? This particular incident, it sounds like other students were the quote unquote lookout for this, and I'm going to use the term couple loosely. This is something I see very often in my practice. And I think that
Oof. You guys hear that? She sees very often. As much as the media wants to make men the evil ones, and we're doing all the bad things, especially diddling kids and stuff, women are just as bad, and they're doing it as it seems like a much higher rate. Why? Because they can get away with it.
makes people wonder about the bigger community. And so I think we've all heard the term that it takes a village to raise a child. That doesn't stop just because a child goes to school.
I spoke with civil litigation attorney Hillary Nappy, who leads her firm's victims' rights practice and has litigated hundreds of cases on behalf of survivors of sexual abuse. She tells me the female teacher-to-student relationship cases are happening far too often, and it's time for schools across the nation to wake up to the abuse that could be happening right under their nose.
I think that there is a stigma that gets placed on young men when they were sexually abused by men.
Correct.
And I don't think when a female is the abuser, that same stigma often applies for young boys.
100%
And I think
agree.
that it is a cultural thing that, we as a society, we have to get over it. We have to start educating our parents and educating our children that, this is not a quote unquote fantasy that a boy is living out just because he is having a sexual relationship with him.
I get comments like that down below when I do stories like this of you guys saying, oh, where was these teachers when I was young? You didn't want this, guys. You guys have no clue the mental ramifications this actually has on these boys. Most of you guys don't understand this. I don't understand this because I've never been one of these boys. But it's not I conquered a older woman feeling. It may be for the time being, but later in life, it does affect them.
An older woman. Schools are supposed to be safe places where children are not meeting predators. And unfortunately, I think that is one of the first places they meet predators. And we hear this too often across the country. So, this one school in Missouri, certainly not an outlier.
And court documents reveal more disturbing details. According to officials, the relationship occurred from November 1st of 2023 to around December 23rd. Investigators say the student witness learned of the relationship between Haley and the 16-year-old boy after they were shown photographs of scratches on the teen's back that he allegedly received while having sex with her in the witness's driveway. The student also told police they overheard a phone conversation between Haley and the victim, where the victim told Haley it was his birthday and she replied, quote, "I'm out of state, but I can send you money, baby. The student witness told police Haley was too friendly with her students and at times dressed inappropriately, such as wearing tight or low-cut shirts to show off, quote, her headlights and tight leggings to, quote, show off her camel toe. The
Jesus
16-year-old
Christ.
victim allegedly told the student witness that he was the reason Haley's divorce from her husband was pushed through, and that Haley wanted a divorce due to her husband only wanting to, quote, do butt stuff. Police also learned Haley had openly discussed her personal life with her class, including details that she had gotten in trouble with the school for being too close with students, which was later verified by the district superintendent. Investigators say on December.
See, look at that. They had proof, they had allegations, they had all these things, but they never jumped on it or never even took it seriously because it was a woman.
December 8th, they made contact with Haley to seize her phone through a search warrant, and she handed over the device with no issues, but police noted she did not have the normal behavior of someone facing the same accusations. Police say Haley denied having any kind of relationship with any student outside of school, denied having contact with the victim outside of school, and denied all allegations. However, according to investigators, Haley's text messages beg to differ. And the messages recovered from her phone show a conversation between Haley and the victim discussing their relationship. On December 23rd, the sheriff's department received an anonymous tip that Haley was about to bolt and leave town to go to Texas, but before she left, planned to meet with a 16-year-old boy. After Haley's arrest in Texas, the school district where she worked released a statement reading in part, quote, "We are aware of criminal charges filed against an employee for alleged misconduct. We understand that charges are not the same as conviction, and the employee is to be considered."
Oh, you motherfuckers. Now, freaking charges are not considered the same as fucking sentencings when it's a woman. But if it was a male freaking teacher, he would have been fired, fucking destroyed off the bat without even any type of evidence or anything. This is so fucking bullshit.
Innocent until proven guilty. We must stress that alleged misconduct is inexcusable and does not meet the professional standards of district employees. An investigation is ongoing. The employee has not been in the district since December 8th, and we do not anticipate her return, end quote. But in another twist and turn in the case,
your parent is supposed to be the person who is your front line in defense of protecting you, not
True.
feeding you up to a predator.
Investigators say they spoke with another witness who alerted them the teen's father was completely aware of the sexual relationship and that Haley had been over to their home before she fled from Missouri to go to Texas. On January 4th, police arrested the teen's father on a charge of endangering the welfare of a child.
Comments down below for this one, guys. To me, he's just as bad. He shouldn't have let this happen. Yeah, he's a teen boy, 16 years old. I understand that. But he shouldn't be having sex with his teacher. He shouldn't be having sex other than his peers. Actually, he's 16. He probably shouldn't even be having sex, to tell you the truth. I didn't even fucking have sex till I was 19. Like I said, I was a lame, right? So I don't think it's a bad thing that men don't get sex when they're young. It's not that bad. It is shitty. I do agree with that, but it's not a devastating, life-ending thing. So I don't think we should be pushing kids to have sex at young ages, boys or girls.
According to court documents, the father revealed to the second witness more shocking information, that Haley and the teen used students as lookouts while they were having sex during school. This unnamed witness also told police they saw the father on the phone with Haley as Haley asked what was told to detectives. When the witness told the father they planned to go forward to police, he responded by saying they're going to do it behind my back, so I may as well let it happen. And also said he would lie for his son if he had to. For Nappy, she believes the charge.
See, that's the hard part, right? Is he a good father? Is he a bad father? This one's this one's a doozy. I can't say that he's a bad father, but he's definitely not a good father for allowing this to happen. He is a good father for wanting to protect his son and wanting, the best for his son, but just because you want the best doesn't mean you're doing good.
Against the teen's father was appropriate.
From a criminal perspective, endangering the welfare of a child is a crime. And it would be no different if, someone was beating his child and he allowed that to happen.
In the past few months,
I
Law and
agree
Crime
with
has
that.
reported on several cases involving female teachers having sexual relationships with their underage students. In Louisiana, Tatum Hatch allegedly sent a 15-year-old boy nude photos of herself and touched him inappropriately in her car with her young child present, even telling
Wow.
the 15-year-old she was worried she wouldn't be the one to take his
These women are getting even more bold, guys. Holy cow.
virginity. Then in Texas, Adriana Ruyan, a middle school teacher in Laredo, was accused of having sex with her 13-year-old student.
13 years old? Throw the book at this woman. Holy shit, a 13-year-old boy? Because you know if it was a 13-year-old girl and this happened to her, oh my god, that motherfucker is getting the chair, especially in Texas. This woman, oh my god. All these women are whores. Straight up whores.
And texted the young boy she might be pregnant with his child. In Idaho, Jessica Lawson, a high school teacher, was charged with having sex with her teenage student after police were alerted to a person finding a teenager driving Lawson's car with Lawson in the back seat because she was too drunk to drive. All denied the accusations
Whoa.
and allegations made against them. But are we seeing a rise of these cases, or have they always been around, but now more people are reporting them?
I think it's the latter. I
Mhm.
think that when you look at child sexual abuse and the statistics, those numbers were always there historically, right? And male on male, female on male, male on female. I think that we are a different society and we should be commended for how much we are now talking about this issue. One of the reasons that so many people have trouble with coming forward and disclosing their sexual abuse is the fear of how they'll be perceived and the stigma that goes with that abuse. And so I think with the conversation happening now, and Me Too was really the catalyst, in my opinion, to start this as a society. You're going to see more and more of this, and more people are going to come forward. I also think it's kind of like that masculinity view that a lot of young men don't necessarily recognize that their sexual interactions with an older woman are wrong. It gets
Dude, we're idiots when we're kids. We're idiots now. When at 16, we were such idiots that our dick spoke for us like literally anytime our dick stood up. And we couldn't even control that shit. So imagine if a good looking teacher came up to you and was like started touching you and stuff. It's very, very hard for any boy to say no. And that's actually a major problem. That these women are taking advantage of these boys that really have so much sexual urge and so much testosterone in them. They don't know better. And them not knowing better is her taking advantage. This is the same argument that we would use for the other way around. Why is it not being used the same way?
portrayed in porn and in movies as being glamorous and cool
I
and the
agree
thing to
with that.
do. And those young men have developing brains just the same as a young girl. And so we would look at it very differently, right, if we saw a
She's not wrong. When I was a teen, of course, I watched plenty of freaking teacher and student adult stuff, on adult websites. That was hot when I was a kid. Did I know better? No. If I would have had sex with a female adult teacher at that time, would it have been wrong? Of course.
adult male teacher engaging in a sexual relationship with a student. And I think that we need to look at that the same way if it's a female teacher and a male student.
She adds many safeguards that were supposed to protect students seemingly were unsuccessful, putting multiple students at risk.
Where was the monitoring, the oversight, and the training for the other teachers about what was happening? As a attorney who handles these cases on a civil context, we always look for what I like to call red flags, right? What were the obvious signs that something was going wrong here? So look, you have a group of students being a lookout, right? Where were those students supposed to be? Were they supposed to be in another classroom? How did they get to where they were to be monitoring this
I didn't
behavior?
even think about that.
Were they given hall passes? Were they given regular hall passes to excuse them from school? What about, the student in question that was, engaging in a sex act? Where was he supposed to be at the time that this was happening? So there are levels of oversight that clearly were missed here. I like to say it always falls back on training and finding the gold standard of how you monitor people. I don't know enough about, in this particular instance, if this female teacher had done this before, had ever had accusations made before, but if so, right, memorializing those and, I think acting quickly on reports of something being off from another teacher and sort of investigating that in the right way, usually kind of spills out into terminating the teacher before something like this happens.
But for the victim in this case, he could have more hurdles to overcome later on.
But, statistically and scientifically, right, we have more developed brains. That's why there is an age of consent. These things weren't just developed by the legislator to curtail people's behavior. It was based on something. And I think that in my practice, I've seen it where it's taken people quite some time. And if you look at the national movement of extending the statute of limitations for civil lawsuits and criminal recourse, it's accounting for that delayed disclosure. It's accounting for that child coming to grips with what happened, putting it in context, realizing that that sexual relationship, right, had an impact on their ability to focus, their ability to work, to learn, to have other relationships, depression, anxiety, sometimes post-traumatic stress, all get roped into this. And of course, a myriad of other mental health issues, but those are the big ones. They then spin off to different things that people use for Band-Aids to try to deal with it. So early intervention for a child when they are in this situation is extremely important. It ends up teaching that child how to cope, right? It doesn't cure the situation, but it gives that child some sort of framework for how they kind of get through the triggers that will come. And it's no different for a male or a female.
Jail records reveal Haley Clifton Carmack is still behind bars in the Comal County Jail in Texas, where she awaits extradition back to Missouri. Her bond has been set at $250,000.
Whew, that's a pricey bond. Holy cow.
Meanwhile, court records reveal the teen's father, who is still behind bars, had his bond set at $50,000. He was arraigned in court on January 8th and is slated to appear in court again on February 5th.
Whew, that was a doozy. Holy cow. What do you guys think about the father? Is he a good father or a bad father? I don't even know. This is where my moral compass is a little bit lost. Is he bad for allowing his son to do that? Or is he good for protecting his son in a way? I don't know. This one's up for debate. Please like, subscribe down below. I really appreciate that. And I'll catch you guys next time. Ciao.